The TOEFL IBT speaking section starts with Task 1, which is the independent speaking task. Here's how it begins. Instructions. You will now be asked a question about a familiar topic. You have 15 seconds to prepare your response and 45 seconds to speak. Listening, Campus Conversation. Student A: I'm really excited about the new outdoor study zones. I've always wanted to study outside, but there's never been a good setup for it. This could be a game changer. Student B: I don't know. It sounds nice, but is it really practical? We're only going to use it during the warmer months, and even then, what if it's noisy or distracting? Student A: That's a good point, but I think it could still be helpful. When the weather's nice, I'd love to have a place to work that isn't indoors. Plus, the Wi-Fi and power outlets make it so much more convenient. Student B: I guess, but I'm also concerned about how well it'll be maintained. If it's not cleaned regularly or the Wi-Fi doesn't work, it might end up being more frustrating than useful. Student A: Fair enough, but even if it works half the time, it could help reduce the pressure on the library spaces, which are always so crowded during finals. Question: The students discuss their opinions about the outdoor study zone project. Summarize the main points of their conversation. Then state which opinion you agree with and explain why. Listening, professor's lecture. In her lecture, the professor elaborates on cognitive dissonance by providing real-world examples. She describes how a shopper might feel dissonance after purchasing an expensive smartphone. To resolve this, they might justify the high cost by emphasizing its superior features or long-term benefits. She explains how students often experience cognitive dissonance when they procrastinate. Even though they value good grades, they might delay studying and justify it by claiming they work better under pressure. Lastly, the professor discusses how companies use cognitive dissonance in advertising. For instance, an eco-friendly brand might target customers who value sustainability but haven't adopted eco-conscious habits, encouraging them to buy products that align with their values. Task 4. Integrated Speaking Task. Academic Lecture. Listening, Professor's Lecture. Today, we're going to talk about the bystander effect, a psychological phenomenon where individuals are less likely to offer help in an emergency when others are present. This happens because people assume that someone else will step in, or they feel unsure of how to act in a group situation. One famous example of this is the case of Kitty Genovese, which took place in the 1960s. Genovese was attacked in a public area, and despite many people witnessing the event, very few stepped in to help. Psychologists later found that the larger the group of bystanders, the less likely any individual is to act. Interestingly, the bystander effect doesn't only occur in emergencies. Studies have shown that it also applies to everyday situations. For example, if someone drops their groceries in a crowded store, people are less likely to assist than if the store is almost empty. However, when one person decides to help, it often triggers others to do the same, breaking the bystander inaction cycle.
Sample answer: I agree that creative activities are more important for personal development. First, they help improve critical thinking and problem-solving skills. For instance, writing a story requires creativity and the ability to organize ideas effectively, which can be valuable in many aspects of life. Second, creative activities allow individuals to express their emotions and relieve stress. Painting or journaling provides an outlet to process feelings, leading to better mental health. Although sports can promote teamwork and physical health, creative pursuits have a broader impact on emotional growth and intellectual development. Sample answer: the students discussed the university's plan to create outdoor study zones. The first student supports the idea, saying it provides more study options and can help reduce library overcrowding. They also think studying outdoors can be refreshing. The second student is skeptical, arguing that the zones may only be useful during warm weather and could face maintenance issues, like dirty areas or poor Wi-Fi. I agree with the first student because outdoor study spaces offer flexibility and promote a better study environment, especially during busy times. While maintenance is a concern, proper management can address this issue. Sample answer: the professor explains cognitive dissonance, which occurs when a person feels discomfort due to conflicting beliefs or behaviors. For example, shoppers may justify buying an expensive smartphone by focusing on its benefits, like durability or advanced features, to reduce their discomfort about the cost. Similarly, students who procrastinate might value good grades but delay studying. To resolve the inconsistency, they convince themselves they work better under pressure. Lastly, advertisers use cognitive dissonance by encouraging eco-conscious people to buy sustainable products, aligning their actions with their values. These examples show how people adjust beliefs or behaviors to feel more consistent. Sample answer: the professor describes the bystander effect, where people are less likely to help in an emergency when others are present. For example, in the Kitty Genovese case, witnesses did not intervene because they assumed someone else would act. The professor also explains that this effect occurs in everyday situations. For instance, in a crowded store, people are less likely to help someone who drops their groceries. However, when one person steps in, it encourages others to follow. These examples illustrate how group dynamics influence individual actions, often leading to inaction unless someone breaks the pattern.